BBC Radio Cornwall's afternoon show with me, Naomi Kennedy. Do you know, it's crazy to think that we're already halfway through September and all that build up to the new academic year has subsided a little bit into familiar routine. Our next guest and I have recently discovered that we each have a little one that have started school this month. And Dominic, how is your little one getting on? Is she enjoying it?
Yeah, she's loving it, really enjoying her own start to school.
This is it, because both of us have got older brothers, I think, and we both got older brothers. Yeah,
yes.
So they see it happening and they're just desperate to enjoy
I know,
themselves.
all through the summer holidays, Lottie was desperate to know when it was the start of term, when she could go to school.
Yeah, mine was the same. Well, it's Dominic Bond who's in the studio with me. He's from Lostwithiel and he's the managing director of the Sabre Trust, which is looking at education in a really wholeheartedly way, not in this country, but in Ghana.
Right.
So tell me a bit more about the Trust and what it does in Ghana.
Well, it's exactly as you just talked about, giving children the best possible start to their education. So we work with the early years of education in Ghana, which there is kindergarten, but here it's the equivalent of reception and year one in the UK. And we work very closely with the government of Ghana to build the quality of kindergarten education in Ghana, and we do that in two ways. We build schools and we train teachers. And when you combine those two fantastic well-designed schools with teachers who've got the enthusiasm and commitment to teach young children, then you get fantastic outcomes for these kids.
And why isn't this happening? Why are there not the schools there? It may sound like an obvious question, but we know of a lot of aid going out to African countries. So, and I know that this charity's been around for over a decade now, isn't it?
Yes.
So why is there that need still?
Well, early years education is actually a very new thing for many African countries. So in Ghana, it only became part of the formal education system in 2007. And there are some fairly entrenched views about what early education should be like, that young children don't really matter. You don't actually start learning properly until you get on into primary school. And what we're trying to do is change those perceptions and help people understand that those first 2 years are absolutely critical. When children are 4 and 5 and 6, that's when their brains are developing. That's when they're gaining all those learning skills that will see them through primary school on into junior high school and beyond. So in Ghana, it's a relatively new development.
When I went to Rwanda for the BBC, and that was about 2004, I think it was, and it was really interesting because there was a real thirst from the children to learn. I went into some schools there, and they desperately wanted to learn, with only the most basic of equipment, the most basic of buildings, but with, like you say, such enthusiastic teachers who are so, bright themselves. We're talking about teachers, but also the children who are maybe on their third language at the age of 6 or 7. They're incredible children. And they really do want to learn, but there has been something preventing them.
There's a lot of barriers in Ghana, especially to children starting school in the right way. So there's about 350,000 children who are not even getting into school at the start of their learning journey, aged 4 or 5. Half of the teachers that teach in kindergarten classrooms have never had any formal training. And there's over 5,000 classrooms around the country that are in complete disrepair and need replacing. So there's lots of barriers to getting into class. And then once you get into school, getting a quality education is absolutely essential.
And do you think we'll ever get to a time when aid from countries like ours isn't needed, where the structures are in place, the attitudes are in place as well?
Absolutely. For us, that's what it's all about. That's our vision, that's our goal. In Ghana, we're very fortunate to have some very good collaborative government partners. There's very strong policy in place. So our role is to leverage the funding, the money that's needed to bring about these changes, but also bring some ideas that can help build the capacity. And for us, sustainability is what it's all about. It's finding the models that fit within a Ghanaian context that then can be sustained when we're no longer required.
And you wholly believe that day will come?
In Ghana, absolutely. I think there's other parts of Africa that face serious challenges in terms of getting the right administration, getting just a peaceful, productive society. But Ghana, its economy is growing. It's about providing the skills, giving these young children the best start to their education so they can go on and be the leaders, the entrepreneurs, be the future of that country and take it forward independently of international aid.
Well, in order to do that, you need to raise funds, and there is just the most incredible thing happening this week, isn't there? I mean, you must be bowled over by the sheer, confident. Well, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but just the sheer ready to attack kind of attitude of the people you've got raising funds this week.
Yes, so September for us is all about trying to get people active. We're running a fundraising campaign called Steps for Change. And within that, we're very fortunate to have a group of individuals taking on an event called the Monster Triathlon. And they began this event last Friday, and they'll complete it this coming Friday. It's an 8-day challenge. It's a triathlon, as the name suggests, beginning with an open water swim on Loch Ness, and then cycling for 5 days from Loch Ness to High Wycombe, and finishing with a 45-mile run along the Thames towpath.
Along the Thames. I mean, are they real kind of Iron men and women? They real kind of Brownlee brothers. That you've got doing it.
Not at all. No, these guys and girls have committed to this. Most of them made it sort of a New Year's resolution, so they've only been training for a few months. Many of them have never undertaken anything like this before, but got so committed and enthused by our program, by the support that their company is providing them. So our main partner on this is an oil company that works in Ghana, Tullow Oil, and they very generously supported the Monster Triathlon. They're matching every pound that's being raised by the runners. But these are very ordinary people doing something absolutely extraordinary this week.
And you're joining them at the end.
I am, yes. Just for the end, the last 2 days.
So, but this is, when you say just for the end, but that's running 45 miles along the Thames. Now, I do know you have been honest and said that the last time you did a run was the Eden Half Marathon, and you said never again.
I did.
And I don't need to point out to you that 13 miles is a lot different to 45. It's kind of 3.5 times more.
I'm banking on the fact that the Thames towpath is very flat. running around here is great training.
Oh, I bet.
The hills are extraordinary.
And the Eden Half Marathon is tricky because a lot of people say it's so hilly.
It's very, very hilly. But yeah, I got to the end of the Eden Half Marathon and decided I'd checked off half marathons, full marathons, anything to do with marathons. And then I just got completely inspired by this group of people and the challenge they're undertaking, and felt I needed to find a way of supporting them and joining them. So joining them for the last 2 days is a big challenge for me personally, but is part of a monumental wider effort.
And you've raised an incredible amount of money as a group altogether so far.
So far, the fundraising total stands at £166,000, which is extraordinary. It's far surpassed any of our expectations, but it's still going. Mm-hmm. These athletes are now on the road. We've got what we're calling a splinter group joining them from midday tomorrow to run a continuous Monster Triathlon and do the whole thing compressed into 48 hours. So they're busy doing their fundraising at the moment, and the more support that the event is generating, the more people are amazed and moved to donate.
And will this money go to a particular project that Sabre Trust is working on at the moment?
Absolutely. So the funding is needed to build 2 new schools. So we are building what we call district model schools, and these are kindergarten schools that provide a focal point for all teaching and learning across a district, and can make a really enormous difference to teaching practice, not only in those schools, but other teachers get engaged. Outreach training is provided from the model schools. So we'll be transforming early years learning in 2 districts of Ghana thanks to this project.
And do the people using, the children using in the school, have a real connection with those in the UK and here in Cornwall who are fundraising for them and sending the money out there? Do they know that there's this part of the world, the UK part of Cornwall, that is actually doing this for them?
They're obviously very young, but they understand that this school has been funded by the support of some very generous people overseas. And we often have supporters or partners come to visit, and when they come to visit the schools, they're able to explain to the children where they've come from, why this has motivated them, and what difference they can see it's making.
Oh, well, good luck. Good. How can people get involved if they want to sponsor the big team?
So the best way to find out what's going on is to visit our website, which is www.sabretrust.org. And then there on our homepage, there's a scrolling banner and a link to the Monster Triathlon. But we're also on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So there's lots of information out there on social media.
Brilliant. It's the Sabre Trust. And good luck. So you're there Thursday, Friday, or?
Thursday and Friday I'll be running on the towpath. So
good. We want to see lots of photos on Instagram and the other social media ones there, just to prove that you are doing it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.